Now in this lecture, we will implement more logical structure. Obviously, reducer function should be divided into more logical component-based action types. And for that, we create separate reducer files and functions as well. Here in this code, we will have two reducers. One is the login reducer, where we'll keep the login related information, and the product reducer, where we will have this product related information and the actions. So let's implement the same. I will first of all copy all the code from store.js and let me create a new file saying loginreducer.js, and let me paste the code here. Now let me also rename this store.js file to product reducer. Now inside this product reducer, let me first of all remove these login and user related information. So this contains only product related information now. Let me also change this function name to product reducer. Let me also remove this if condition. We do not need this action type is equal to login thing because this will be part of the login reducer. And let me remove this store creation also because this we are going to shift into index.js. So at least from this we are not going to create the store, and we'll export the product reducer rather than just a reducer. Let's go to login reducer.js. Here I am removing the product, cart and total. So this only is meant for the login related data. This function also we name as login reducer. And here we remove these actions which are related to product and just keep the login action as it is. And let's also export the login reducer. Now let's go to index.js. Let's import the combineReducers and create store also because we will be creating the store here. Then I'm going to import the login reducer. So here I'm going to import this login reducer rather than store, and from login reducer. And I'll import the product reducer as well, and we give the path. Now I'm going to create the store first of all. So I'll say const store is equal to create store. Now the point here is when we create the store, we pass a function that is called as reducer. Because we have the login reducer and product reducer, we cannot pass both the functions here. We have to pass only one function. That's where the combineReducers will help you. How? Let's see this. I'll say const, for example, I name the reducer as root reducer is equal to combineReducers. Now the product reducer object I'm going to assign to PR. So PR is going to be a key. I'm explaining in a moment. But let me first of all also add the LR colon login reducer. So now let's just save this and check the output. As you can see, we don't get the output now. The reason is earlier we had the object like this. But now we have used this combineReducers where the product reducer and login reducer contains the data with another parent reference, that is the PR and LR. As you can see in this illustration that the PR and LR are becoming parent of all these values. PR is becoming parent of these values, whereas LR is becoming parent of these values. So if I have to access this products, for example, then I will have to say pr.products. Same goes with users as well. So if I have to access it, I'll say lr.login_detail or lr.users. So let's do that. First of all, I'll go to the purchase component, and here in the products, I'll say state.pr.products, and here I'll say state.lr.login_detail. The same applies to the cart. So I'll go to the cart.js. I'll say state.pr.cart and state.lr.login_detail. And with total also I'll say same thing, PR and LR. Let's save this, and now let's check the output. So you see that we select the users. Let's also add few items. I'll say grape, banana, mango. Let's try to delete as well. And let's change the user once again. So every functionality is working fine now. Now you see that the reducers are divided. So more or less every component will have a separate reducer, and this is more manageable code. As I mentioned earlier, now in the newer approaches we have slices. So we are going to use Redux toolkit and we'll create slices, and that's how we are going to fine tune our code. Combine reducers not used extensively these days, but because you need to know Redux as a whole, even the older version, you should be aware of so that you can work with any project. That's why I have explained in these past 2 lectures how the combine reducers work. Now let's talk about a relative question. Explain the code pattern if you use combineReducers utility function. So the basic idea is generally you try to divide your actions into more component level reducers. Let's say here we have created the product reducer and login reducer. Similarly, you may have more reducers. Every reducer is going to be a separate file, and that we merge in the index.js. As you can see here that we imported the reducers, and then we use the combineReducers function, and inside which we have an object literal where the key is basically becoming the parent object, and then we have the states accessible through that. Like here we have the PR and LR as keys which allow us to access the data inside the individual reducer. So this is a basic flow, and then this root reducer which we created, that we pass in the store. So as a developer, this is an easier and more manageable code, and you can focus on every component level actions with different reducers.